we are moving on. Here is the next bit of content that we're going to be reacting to. And this video I thought was interesting. I haven't watched it. This was suggested, I think, by Nelson. Is hiring escorts worth it? The math behind counter piracy. I don't know if this is actually associated with a post that we reacted to last week in Spectrum, but we covered a Spectrum post last week about the math behind. No, not last week. The week before. It was the first stream about the math behind, like escorts and all that. So maybe this video is a response to it or not. It's from 10 days ago. So yeah, it might actually be based on that Spectrum post. But this is Habanero Sauce, 132 subscribers. Never heard of this guy. 2.1k views, so that's not too shabby for a small channel. But yeah, let's watch and see what Habanero Sauce has to say about the math behind counter piracy.
Recently, there has been a trend of gameplay within Star Citizen. To some, it's a lot of fun. There is great glory to be had, but to others, it's a source of frustration, anger, and saltiness. Yeah, we're talking about piracy. It isn't just piracy, though. It's an all-out attack on any cargo runner that exists in the game. Every day, there are new people whining in Global about how someone just rammed their C2 within an armistice. He's in the door. SMO-18 and SMO-10 have been an absolute graveyard, scattered ships everywhere, and even more cargo all over the ground that is absolutely untouchable. But not only that, New Babbage, the cell location, is littered as well with broken ships and cargo that is absolutely unreachable. What's up? How's it going? My name is Habanero Sauce, and thank you for watching.
60 seconds in, and he's doing his intro.
Hey, before the video starts, I want to point out that I have a special offer for organizations, so stick to the end of the video and figure out what I've got. A few friends and I have discovered some gameplay that keeps on giving. We sell our services as mercenaries. We don't just go into the mercenary tab and we find a mercenary mission to do, defending a site or doing something like that. We reach out to other organizations or streamers and see if they need our services. Sometimes they need an opposing force, or another time they need to bolster their numbers for an event, or sometimes they just need general protection.
Is this guy just advertising his org?
Is another area all in itself. There's been a lot of videos about griefing or piracy, and my buddy Rivergrit over at Pax Mortis said this.
Even better, hire PvP orgs, or at least friend some PvP orgs. Not just the mercenary orgs, I'm talking like the real PvP orgs that literally just play the game to fight people 24/7. That's it.
There has not ever been a time in the org that I am in that we have ever been hired to escort someone for cargo. And it isn't for lack of trying either. If you don't know, you can go to the RSI website, go to organizations, filter the results to organizations, corporations, what have you.
I mentioned this last week in Stranger Danger's video, and it's don't talk, do. Like this B-roll, yeah, it's cool. Like they're using a M50 to board ships, crack the door open with scatter guns, ballistic scatter guns, and then they're able to just fly in and do a boarding action. That's cool. But if you're going to, talk about how to do something, like once again, a how-to, even if it's a component of the video, don't just talk about it. Yes, it does mean that you got to put a bit more effort in, but if you want more engagement, that's what you're going to need to do. The irony is that, old mate's got, 2,100 views on this, which isn't shabby for, 2,100 views over 10 days, and he's only got 102 subs. It's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Maybe he'd have a lot more subs if he, was showing this sort of stuff, putting that effort in the content creation. So far, this has been a bit all over the place, though. Like, it sounds like he was advertising for his org. It's kind of hard for me to sit there and really be able to take what he's saying too seriously just yet, because a lot of what he's talking about I already know as well. So for some people who are watching this video, it is brand spanking new information, so it may be more engaging to them. For me, it's not. So I'm having a little bit of trouble just maintaining engagement, especially with the slow pacing of this video. Like, it's 15 minutes. We'll keep watching because I have a feeling that it's going to be a bit more interesting. They do talk about the math behind counter piracy, but if they start talking about numbers and they're not putting numbers up on the screen for me to follow, I'll probably end the video. Because I don't want to hear about numbers, I'd rather see the numbers. I'm watching a fucking video. It's a visual thing. I don't need to watch your bloody board, ships over and over again in your M50.
And then even specify that you're looking for someone that is in trading. If they have a Discord link, you can join their Discord and ask one of the admins in the server if they would like your help. We have done this. And a lot of times we will find someone that says yes with intention, but we've never had any action on that. No one reaches out to say, we need help running our cargo. And even recently within the PU, I had a conversation with a cargo runner where they were telling me that hiring escorts is not needed. So confused, especially with all the stuff that's been happening lately and the rise of piracy, my friends and I decided to find out the ins and outs of one cargo run. The plan was simple. What is the profit of hauling as many drugs as we could buy in 1 hour? 1 hour seemed to be a simple plan. Most people can commit to at least 1 hour of their time.
Why drugs? Like, if you really wanted to know the cargo hauler experience, you'd be going to the areas where the cargo haulers are going and buying under load. So you'd be looking at SMO 18 as the most likely site. Shubin, SCD 1 on Daymar could also be another site that you could go to, where you're experiencing tick trading. Or you could go to SMO 10, SMO 22 and do barrel runs, or you could go to IDA and do the same thing. The irony behind this test is that you're going to have varied experiences based on what you're hauling and where you're hauling from and where you're hauling to. And that's the thing about this, is that you can't really sit there and go, oh yeah, we're going to do an hour of cargo hauling and this is what it's like, and go, yeah, this is the definitive proof. He's probably not going to say definitive proof, but this is our proof, this is our argument, this is our justification for the points that we're about to make. It may work on people who don't know or understand these things, but like, I'm watching this video and I do understand these things. I have been doing cargo hauling. I've been doing piracy a lot longer than fucking most of the guys who make videos about it. Or, like, my first complaint was about not showing, just talking and not showing. But this next one is like, going to people and going, hey, we're offering our services to we protect you from pirates. All you got to do is just call us up, and we'll run escort for you. And it's like, look, I've mentioned this a few times, and I don't think it's getting out to the mercenary orgs. But with the way that piracy first started in Star Citizen is that you had to go out there and make it happen. In fact, it's the thing that you have to do. You have to go out and find people to pirate, which means that you got to learn about what your targets are doing. And the irony here is that these guys are going out, and they're going to the haulers and going, hey, we'll protect you from pirates. The thing though is like, the haulers, not every hauler needs, an escort. If there are pirates around, they definitely need one, but there's not always pirates around. And the thing is that they need to adapt their tactics. They're focusing on, trying to get work, through users, and then sitting there going, the system doesn't work. Like, the system isn't working because you're not trying hard enough. I've seen it happen in games. Some groups do it, where they just show up at SMO 18. They're like, hey, we're here to help anybody. If you end up under attack by pirates, hit us up. We'll be in the area. That's it. Yeah, exactly, Ozil. Like, that's how it should be. Like, just find haulers. Like, fly to the areas where haulers are hanging out at, and then just patrol the area. And if pirates show up, or pirates try to do an attack them. Engage the pirates. And I'm going to tell you now, like, the mentality that you need to go the haulers first to get the work before going into the game is backwards. Like, you should be in the game first. That's where the pirates are. And you should be waiting, setting up patrols, kicking around. It's not going to be fun, sexy, or cool, but that's security work. 90% of the time, it's boring as batshit. If you're sitting there expecting to be PvPing the entire time doing security work for other players, you've missed the point. Good security is security that is designed to look mean and look threatening so that nothing happens.
Time. It's manageable and it's measurable. Additionally, it's a simple enough measurement to compare to the other tasks in the game. What could I make salvaging in 1 hour? What could I make doing ERTs in 1 hour? What could I make doing bunkers in 1 hour? After some consideration with the average over all players, the wait times for ships, the potential risks, and the skill floors and skill ceilings represented over the entire player base, we calculated that for 1 hour, 100k
Hey, he's got numbers on the screen.
AUEC is a pretty decent payout. There are definitely ways that you can get paid more within the game, but this seemed to be, what's worth my time? 100k. So we had 2 questions to ask during this operation. What makes it worthwhile for the escort? Can an escort justify spending an hour of their time watching and waiting and being bored? And additionally, what makes it worthwhile for the cargo hauler? So we decided that instead of going to SMO 18 or to SMO 10, that we would run drugs. With both of those places being quite hot with piracy lately, or just
Quite hot with piracy lately? No, they're not. They're nowhere near the fucking same level of activity of piracy as fucking SMO 18. Nowhere near it. The hell is this shit? If anything, you can run drugs and not have to worry about seeing another person. I was doing it on fucking stream last week. This is cherry picking data. Go to fucking SMO 18 and try this shit and see how long you last.
general people that are trying to ruin someone's day, drugs have been remarkably safe. I myself will try to pirate a random illegal goods runner here and there, and I have yet to find any in recent weeks. So I took my new Caterpillar with its Foundation Festival paint, and we went to Crusader. Crusader has 4 drug stations, more than any other planetary body in Stanton. These are Jumptown, NT999XX on Yella, Private Property on Selen, and New and Waste on Daymar. Not all of these drug stations are the same. We went to each one of them, we bought a few drugs from each of them, but we found that Jumptown had a restock within 10 minutes. And with less and less people spending their time at Jumptown and other servers trying to take the shared inventory for it, we found that usually at about every 10 minutes, it was pretty faithful to have about 15 SCU per item. For this operation, I hired 2 of my ragtag friends. I ended up with 3, but it still works. One of them, we'll call him the active escort, was to be with me 24/7. By the end, this guy was even complaining that he couldn't even get out to go drink. He went before me to every single location to scout ahead to make sure the route was clear, and he would sit in the air pinging the entire time that I was inside of the building, making sure that there were no hostiles in the AO. The other 2 were in the same ship, a gunner and the pilot. They did not have to be with me the entire time. We'll call that passive escort. They just had to be nearby. While I was doing my cargo runs, they were doing their errands. They could do bunkers, they could do whatever. I think these 2 went and bought a quantum drive and cleared a crime stat. The pay also varied between the 2 escorts. The escort that was with me the entire time, we had concluded beforehand that he would get 20%. After all, I'm demanding all of his time. I'm asking him that though it's boring, that he doesn't go AFK, that he doesn't fool around, that he sits with me the entire time, and that he would be diligent in scanning in the air while I bought drugs. The other 2 only got 10%, and that's only because we needed them to be nearby and to be available whenever we called, especially when we went to go sell. All in all, I was on track to lose 40% of the total profit. Here's how the numbers turned out.
You are not losing credits by hiring security. It is an insurance policy to protect your cargo. For fuck's sakes. Like this whole mentality, oh, I'm losing credits because I'm paying for somebody that, isn't doing anything. That's what insurance is. You know, in real life, when you have insurance for your car, you give the insurance company money in case something happens to your car so that you can get it fixed or replaced. To sit there and say, oh, like I'm losing all this money by paying for, these escorts, that's your insurance right there. Yeah, exactly. No, like this is funny because I've brought this up for years. It's like all you need to do is just create, put a high value commodity at a fucking location and watch people flock to it. That was Jumptown. That was the original Jumptown. High value commodity, large supply, large profit margin, high risk. Came from, everybody knowing about and going there. Leave my game alone at the end of the conversation, yeah. The mentality that you're losing money when you're paying for security is dumb. People need to reframe that in their head. Because if you don't, it doesn't matter if it's AI, it doesn't matter if it's other players, it won't matter at any stage of the game. If you have to pay for security, you're always going to say, I'm losing credits. It's like, no, you're paying credits to ensure that you can keep your cargo. And realistically, what you're paying your security escorts as an insurance policy consideration should be way less than having to pay for insurance to replace your cargo. But I'm pretty sure CIG is just going to gamify that. All right, we're halfway through. Let's get through this.
In my pocket, I had 2.5 million AUEC. In 1 hour, I was able to fill just over 40% of my Caterpillar with drugs. What was left in my pocket is 500k. Let's say that I spent 2 million. When we left a cell, I asked all 3 escorts to be with me the entire time. When I sold and had 300k in my pocket, meaning that I had just profited 500k. That's a 25% profit. Now I have to pay the escorts. I pay for all 3 at 40%. This is about 200k of my 500k. One of those took 50% of that profit. The other 2 took 25. The one that spent an hour with me made almost 100k, while the other 2, just for spending 15 minutes with me, made about 50k each. Now I know that there might be questions on what was fair and what was a fair price, but these were things that these mercenaries agreed to before we started. I think it is safe to say that the mercenaries got paid well for their time as escorts. But the real question is this: is it worth it for the cargo hauler? Now, here is where I'm going to admit, I am not a cargo hauler by any means. I usually do the escort job or do the PvP job. So buying a Caterpillar running cargo is not my main thing. But I still made a profit in the end. While I paid 40% to my escorts, I still made 60%. If I wanted to go do that run again, I was not in the hole. I'd be able to do it again and do it again and do it again, all the while having at least a little bit of profit. Everything else in the game splits the income. If you go do an ERT, you have to split the income evenly with everybody. If you go do a salvaging run and people are working for you to get this salvage done and every job is needed, it's usually understood that everyone shares the income. But for some reason, I have found that cargo haulers do not like the sharing of the income. They are used to getting 100% of the profits every single time. In the past, when the game didn't have the cargo refactor or didn't have any of the dangers, or at least not as many of them, it made more sense to get 100% of the profit.
I don't know if I want to finish this. The problem that I have with this test that he's using is that it's one isolated case. They're running drugs. They're going to locations that don't get frequented by players. And like his security rotation is retarded. I have a military background, so when he's talking about having, an escort that's active with him all the time and then 2 guys just off doing whatever and, they're on call, it's like, all right, so he's got his escort with him and he's got a QRF. right? That's what he's got. Quick reaction force and, you know, his escort, his security. And old mate, who's his security, is sitting there going, fuck, I've got to spend an hour doing this. And I'm just like, all right. One, an hour is a long time to be doing that. And I don't blame his friends sitting there complaining about that. So as a mercenary org, why not mitigate that boredom by rotating your security through the active position? 20 minutes each active, 40 minutes passive. They could have done it that way. They could stagger their escorts. So instead of the one guy, you know, jumping ahead and scouting the place out, the security guys, there's 3 of them. So if old mate goes to 3 sites, he can have them go ahead. You can have one go ahead to one and he goes and joins them. Okay, and then one of the other security guys, all right, we're getting ready to leave. Bob number 2, but he jumped to the next location and scouted out while I'm on the way. Bob number 1, you know, you can go run a bunker or something like that now. For me, I'm just having trouble quantifying how they aren't coming up with these solutions. Why aren't you attempting to come up with better solutions for this? Like, I'm glad that they're at least trying. You know, they're having a crack. That's good. It's a start. We shouldn't need to sit there and say, you know, baby people through that. I don't think one test is good enough. Like this, the data behind this is just shit. But you know, the other point is like these guys really need to think more about how they approach providing security. Maybe they talk about it towards the end of the video. You know, we've still got 4 minutes left. You know, we're about to go into the AAR part, but I just needed to pause and just take a small breather from this, because the way I'm seeing it is that what we're looking at here is the average mentality of the player. Like, this is the mentality of the average player in Star Citizen who isn't making those sorts of considerations. They're the ones that are essentially being spoon-fed their content. Until CIG is implementing AI that do these things, the players just aren't going to think about these solutions unless there's a content creator showing them how to do it. With what's going on with this, you know, test here, I'm just not... Could have been done better. The positive is that they're trying. I wouldn't call this conclusive data though.
If I did this run without any escorts, I would make 100% of the profit. I would make 500k. If I did this 4 times, I just doubled my initial investment. And on the 5th one, I would make 125%. Piracy is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. It is not going to go away with the next patch. It's not going to dwindle down as criminal activities get more punishments or if bounty hunting changes in any way. Every single patch and every single advancement, pirates will become more and more clever and find more ways to hit you. So, in one of those 5, what if a pirate had hit me?
I guarantee you on this point that he's making that we will see a drop in piracy activity once the punishments start coming in for piracy. For starters, old mate is showing, you know, him conducting boarding actions on fucking haulers. So he's committing acts of piracy himself. And he's supposed to be in a mercenary org. Don't think he's going to be doing piracy if he's supposed to be a mercenary when the punishments come in. So there will be a drop in piracy activity. Right now it is flourishing because it's the risk to pirates is low, but not for the reason that a lot of the screen-licking Care Bears scream that, you know, the risk to piracy is low. It's not because the punishments are non-existent. It's because we're fucking essentially pirating NPCs who fucking crash when we, you know, disable their ship. That is the main reason why piracy is low risk. The risk to us when we're conducting acts of piracy comes from the people we pirate. If you don't have escorts, if you don't have security, we're just going to walk all over you. That's just it. That's how it works. You know, contact these security orgs or put a call out and just say, hey, is there anybody patrolling around, you know, X place? You know, SMO 18. Honestly, and I've seen this happen before where security orgs will just hover around places of interest and they'll stop anybody, you know, coming in for free. And then haulers will tip them. Hey, you know, thanks for being around here. You know, thanks for the assist. Thanks for providing some security here. You know, here's 50k. That is 100% true, Ozil and Adrian. We're dealing with a lot of tourists at the moment. And illegal and legal will mean something. So we should see a drop off in activity. But yeah. Alright, let's get going. We're almost done.
If they hit me on number 5, I would be a little over 0. I wouldn't have necessarily lost anything, but I did also just waste 5 hours of my time. But I had no escorts. What if they hit me on number 1? I would be crying at 500k. Now, here's the thing. Escorts are not 100%. If you go up against a organized group of pirates, it's likely that you will lose your cargo. But weighing the risks and rewards of hiring escorts, to me, it doesn't make sense to not hire them. I've ran into some people that have friends that will run escort for them as well. You don't even have to hire those people.
Of course, the guy who's a part of a security org is saying, yeah, hire escorts. I salute you for wanting that. I really do, but your data is not going to convince the audience that you think that is going to convince.
Sometimes they will do it for free. Now that begs into question, if they're doing it for free, how committed are they to doing it? Will they be AFK when you need them? Will they be that good if you need them? Those are all questions, but weighing the risks and the rewards, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But again, I'm not a cargo hauler, so I will rest in confusion and wait to be called. We will still be diligent about asking people if they want escorts, but until cargo haulers realize that it's okay to share your profit, I think it's not going to be something that happens.
God damn it. Sort your audio out.
I am getting bummed out by all the negative organization drama. Hypocrite this, we hate that, don't go to this person.
We're getting a lot of deja vu from these clips. These what was it? Just before the change here, we're running out to the ship.
Realize that it's okay to share your profit. I think it's not going to be something that happens.
Right.
I am getting bummed out by all the negative organization drama. Hypocrite this, we hate that, don't go to this person. I have had an awesome time building a community, and I would like to share that with others. If you're watching this, and you are part of an org, or you lead your own organization, I would like to have a tour of your org on my channel. Think of it as a free trailer or advertisement. Now here's the thing, I am super friendly, but I'm not going to be your friend in this. I will be honest, I will talk about what it is, and even if I rate my own organization, it would get high rankings in some things, but maybe not in others. But I believe it will really be a fun way to do my part in building the community. The qualifications are quite simple. Your org needs to have over 50 members on the RSI website. This makes you a, quote, large org. If you are not that large, but you believe you should still be toured, the only other...
Why? Why would I care about you touring my org? I don't understand the premise behind this. I'm curious. I'm not interested in watching the rest of this. I'm more curious about his channel and what he's got here. So let's have a look. Videos. Ragtag, not much there. That's it. Alrighty. He wants to access my walled off garden for his benefit? No. YouTube's a cutthroat business. Get fucked. You're not joining my fucking org to look in. Bloody don't send him over to Kate. Oh, mate. Alright. An attempt was made. Look, I don't want to discourage him. I think his intent is good. I think he's putting a bit more, too much emphasis on trying to do outreach to the community yet. That said, though, I honestly think that he should probably be focusing more on just building up his own org before trying to reach out. A young Earth creationist evolution denier with his data gathering. Yeah, the way I see it, focus on the gameplay. Like, just focus on gameplay. That's what you're there for. Don't get too much into the philosophical side of things. Do more cargo hauling so that you understand your clientele base that you want to target better. Engage in piracy gameplay as well so that you understand your opponents better. Their motivations, what they're trying to do, how they're going to do things. That all said, though, it's like, focus on your own org first, man, before trying to expand out. Focus on just building up the combat part of your org. Just go to SMO 18. Go to SMO 18. Just announce yourselves. Hey, what is it, Ragtag Mercs? The Ragtag Mercs are providing security at SMO 18. Alright, if you're here to haul, you're safe. You don't have to pay anything for it. If we see you show up in anything that isn't a cargo hauler, we're going to query you. If we assess that you're a pirate, then we'll attack. If I was going to approach this from a security organization perspective, I'd just be hanging out at SMO 18. That's what I'd be doing. I'd just be flying around there. I'd be talking in chat. I'd be like, hey, I'm such and such. Ozzel, you should mention your org. Like, it's about building up a brand. Mongrel Squad is a brand for the organization. Putting the stuff on YouTube, talking about piracy gameplay, making posts, engaging with content creators, doing streams like this. This is all about building up the Mongrel Squad brand as well. Pushing Mongrel Squad's name out there, letting people know, hey, yeah, we're a piracy organization. This is what we do. This is how we do it. If you're interested in doing it, join us through this avenue now. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing streams with the Pack Rats and the Cartel, showing off what we do there, because I'm trying to do the same thing. It's like, this is the Stellar Pack Rat logistics. This is what we do. Same with the Cartel. This is mAfS Cartel. This is what we do. If you're interested in joining, join. This is how you do it. Building up the brands, it takes time. Takes effort. You have to be consistent. Consistency is the key. Like, people talk about, the reputation, system doesn't exist. And they use that as like an excuse for not knowing an organization worth utilizing as a tool. And I'm going to tell you right now, guys, like, putting your name out there and delivering, proving that you're capable, that's how you build reputation. Okay, it could be a fucking number in a video game, but guess what? We don't have that yet for player organizations or individual players. It's with the AI, and it's, like this shitty rating system that they've got there based on, the missions that you do for them. If you want to build reputation, which is a form of currency, reputation is a form of social currency, right? To build that, you need to prove that you're capable and that you're consistent and that you are what you say you are. So, for us, making the videos helped us out a lot. Putting out Spectrum posts, engaging with people. As I said, doing these streams. That all is creating that reputation and, social currency with the community. We do get contacted by people to pirate others on their behalf. After Shattered Delusions, we got several messages from people. They wanted to contract us to do assassinations in-game. Need to make sure that's clear. It was all in-game, nothing in real life. The reputation that we got from Shattered Delusions was that, people could contract us and, utilize our capabilities to achieve a goal that they wanted, which was player assassinations of the persistent universe. And it's not that we couldn't do it. It was more that it wasn't worth it. And it wasn't part of our branding. This is why we focus more on piracy ops. Mongrel Squad still isn't that widely known amongst the Star Citizen community, but if you speak to certain content creators, they know who we are, and they talk with their audiences about us. And that's how you gain a rep. You got to know the right people too. You got to get in the ears of the right people as well. But you've also got to be able to deliver. So having the right reputation, building that up, being consistent and delivering on what you say. Honestly, just focus on building a reputation first, man, for your organization, and delivering on what you guys want to do. Like, trying to convince the haulers to hire you is admirable, but they're probably still not going to do it. I've been doing piracy for quite a few years now in Star Citizen. The majority of the time when haulers are using security, it's org mates, and it's kind of a forced thing for them. They're just doing it for the sake of it. You're better off hanging around SMO 18, just patrolling around. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be cool. You're probably not going to get paid. But you need to focus more on building up your guys' reputation. And this is to all security orgs. Build up your reputation. You may be doing it for free for a while, but you get to know enough people. You get to know the right people. You may be able to build up yourselves to getting regular paid gigs. Some organizations like to run convoys, and they'll try and sort out security, but they don't have enough people. Well, if you meet the right people within those organizations, you may get hired as their security. But going to their discords and going, hey, let us be your escorts, isn't going to get you very far. You're better off proving your worth to them first, which is by showing. And yeah, at the end of the day, you should try and find people who are more focused on gameplay and not on making numbers going big in their wallet. Which is kind of hard when you're dealing with haulers, but yeah. Good luck on your fight, man. I wish you well. I wish there was more people like you. But I look forward to encounters against other security organizations and fighting people, in game. I want more of that organic PvP experience, which is why I like what's going on in SMO 18.